Welcome back to The Boys in the Iceberg, the podcast where we watch Avatar. Gosh dang it, I didn't even mean to do it that time, and I still did it.
What do we watch,
The podcast
Caleb?
where we watch The Legend of Korra, the continuation of Avatar, The Last Airbender. As always, I'm Caleb Ader.
And I am Harley.
Not going to end with a last name there?
I didn't think about it, actually.
Okay, Harley Davis, everyone.
Thank you.
I'll put some applause in there, but probably not since we're recording this literally minutes before it has to go out.
Yeah, we're slacking. It's 11:30 right now on a Wednesday.
Yeah, so this episode's still going to go out, but if there's a delay...
We're just pressed for time right now as
well. Okay, so let's just get into these episodes, Harley. The first episode that we had was...
The Revelation.
Yes, The Revelation.
All right, let me shoot you a quick overview here. All right, it starts out with Mako and Bolin are looking for ways to attain 30,000 yuans that they need in order to be eligible to compete in the pro bending tournament. Bolin accepts work from a triple threat triad named Shady Shin.
Terrible name.
Yeah, it's terrible. And subsequently disappears. Korra and Mako go looking for Bolin and encounter the group of chi blockers who had kidnapped him, but the Equalists flee. Korra and Mako later find out about an Equalist rally and decide to attend it. There, they learn many secrets from the Equalists and their leader, Amon, who is present at the rally, and rescue Bolin from his otherwise doomed fate.
So yeah, they sort of skipped over the most important part of the episode in there, right?
I mean, that's just the simplest overview you can get.
Yeah, okay, so let's start at the beginning. We find out that the fire ferrets may not be able to compete in the pro bending tournament after all, even though they qualified.
They're broke.
Yeah, they don't have any money. Korra has never had money because people have just taken care of her entire life.
And you need an entry fee of 30,000 yuans to get in, as it said. And so Bolin doesn't have a job. Mako doesn't have a job. And Korra doesn't have a job.
They're pro benders, though.
Mako,
you think they get paid for... Well, I guess that they did...
What endorsements do they have, though?
So they did explain in the last episode where they're paying rent. Or maybe, was that this episode?
They live in the...
they live in the gym. I think it was last episode. And the guy who charges them rent, he completely charges them more than he should. So they have no money after their pro bending matches.
So he's awful. So they basically just play for a place to live.
Yeah, that's basically all it is. Right. And train, I guess.
So, yeah.
I guess
their whole life revolves around pro bending.
Yeah. I guess that's fine to some extent.
They moved up from the slums they lived in as a kid, though.
Until you have to like buy your way into the tournament in order to make more money. Yeah. That's kind of counterintuitive.
That's fine.
How many was it? 10,000 yuans or 5,000 yuans?
To get in?
One of those two, I think.
30,000.
Was it 30,000?
It was 30,000 to get in.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of yuans.
So they start going out to make money, and Mako goes to get a job, and this is where we see what was once a very large, unique ability, lightning bending, which we only saw 3 times from Iroh, Azula, and Ozai. We only saw it 3 times from 3 different characters.
Zuko couldn't even do it. No, I guess he didn't try.
He redirected it, though.
He didn't try that much, and he probably can now.
No, yeah, probably. So it's no longer a unique thing. It has been taught to workers in factories to do whatever they were doing. I wasn't paying much attention.
They're like charging batteries, I guess.
Maybe let's go with that.
And this is a point that I don't like about this episode.
Tell us what you told me.
So at one point, let's go on a little bit long, and I'll wait to introduce it. But Shady Shin. That's his name, right?
Shady Shin, who's a triple threat thing guy.
He approaches Bolin, who's out trying to perform on the street with his fire ferret. What's his name? Pabu. Yes. He's trying to rustle up some cash that way by making Pabu do tricks, and he gets a coin.
I would give him a coin just because that thing is adorable.
Yeah. But Shady Shin approaches him and is like, "Hey, I got 10,000 yuans right here. It could be yours and more if you come do some work for me in the triple threat triad.
Some spices for me. Wink, wink. I don't know if that's what it says.
Something like that. But so Bolin's like, okay, that's a lot of money. I'm going to go do this. Well, the next scene we see Mako coming to Korra like, hey, my brother's gone missing. Help me find him.
Yes. I was about to say something about the gangs.
The Triple Threat Triads?
Oh no, there's
the
there's
Agni
three.
Kais.
Yeah, there's Agni Kais and some other gang and the Triple Threat Triads, and there's a turf war.
Do you
all
think
coming to a head?
Do you think the Agni Kais are just firebenders?
Maybe that would be
That makes
kind of
sense, right?
dumb to name your name like Agni Kai, they be waterbenders
Yeah.
or something. Anyways, yeah. So there's a turf war all coming to a head right now, and Bolin has no idea. He's just going to run this one gig for some money because he really wants to be in the pro bidding tournament, which is understandable. You know, I would sell drugs to get 30,000 yuan, so I wouldn't care.
Would you?
I'd stab a man for $1,000.
Okay.
Somebody offer me $1,000 right now, and I'll stick a knife in Caleb. Waiting for your tweets. Hashtag
No
stab.
offers.
Hashtag stab Caleb. Tweet at me.
Or if you would prefer I not get stabbed, hashtag not stab Caleb.
I want the $1,000 up front, though.
Yeah, so let's get, I don't even know what that sidebar is about. Yeah, so Bolin takes up their offer and then goes missing. So Mako and Korra head out with the whatever the stupid dog is.
Naga.
What's it? Naga, yeah.
She has
Not
a
a
name.
fan. Not a fan.
She actually gets some screen time in this episode, though. That's cool.
Yeah, they head out on Naga, and they're going to go off and find Bolin. And they run into some trouble along the way.
And tell us what kind of trouble that was, Caleb.
These new foes.
Ooh, the chi blockers. You're
The
right.
chi blockers,
Which are part of the Equalist group, which is Amon's group.
which is the group that believes that benders are oppressors, and they're just there to make life hell for the non-benders.
Yes, which is just not true.
No, because if you look at like the people working in like the factories and stuff, making the power, it's benders.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Which brings me to my point. The chi blockers or the equalists have vehicles, and we've seen cars and stuff in this series before. But how are they powered? Because they sound like they're combustion engines, right?
We might get into that, though, because of the next episode that we will dive into in a minute.
Are you sure? Yeah, well, okay, so like you have the Satomobiles, as they're
Yes,
called.
we have been introduced to the automobiles.
Okay, but are they combustion engines? Is what, because they sound like a combustion engine, but the power generators that we've seen are lightning benders.
Caleb, I'm going to level with you. I know nothing about engines, so let's just pop that right out there.
But I'm just saying they sound like a traditional engine, right?
I'll take your word for it.
Okay, so you watch the episode
I don't know what that is.
like a traditional engine,
Like an engine in a vehicle
like
now.
a motorcycle. What do you think a motorcycle sounds like? Did they sound like that?
Oh, sure, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a combustion engine, which is using like the force of pistons moving with that have fire behind them.
Welcome to Mechanics 101, ladies and gentlemen. Led by your Professor Caleb Bader.
To power the engine, right?
Sure.
But if they have lightning benders who are creating that power, why would they need combustion engines?
No, I'm following along with that.
That's what
For
I'm
sure.
saying. So I just don't know. But they do exhibit some chi blocking skills. And this is really, we haven't seen a whole lot of that.
Well, it looks like, obviously, Ty Lee's form. It looks like Ty Lee created this, and it looks like almost the chi blockers perfected it.
I think that's dumb how she created it.
That's fine. I'm okay with it.
Because, okay, so how would she just invent that? You know?
Probably the same way that Iroh invented lightning redirection. Studying, research, experience.
She's not a researcher. She's a circus freak. But what I'm saying is, okay, so we got like Guru Patik.
I forgot he existed. Thank you for bringing him back up.
Yeah. So Guru Patik, he has been training like in chi his entire life, right? Like that's his. He meditates. He understands.
Maybe
flow.
he trained Ty Lee. Let's get a backstory.
I don't
on
think
those two.
I don't think that Guru
Let's
Patik
bring those together.
trained Ty Lee. I'm just saying I don't think that she invented it.
We never did see her heritage. Maybe he was like an adopted father. To her.
Definitely not.
Maybe,
Absolutely not.
Maybe there's some connection there.
So he's from the Fire Nation. Is that what you're
That's
saying?
what I'm getting at.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, but the chi blockers, they have perfected. If you think Ty Lee invented it, I'm not so.
It
sold.
was okay, fine. Our original introduction, for
our point of reference
for chi blocking
chi blocking.
was Ty Lee, and it says so in the Wikipedia that it stemmed from Ty Lee's teachings.
I'm just saying.
I'll take it from there. I'll run with it.
I'm just saying.
I'll run with it.
But yeah,
I think the chi blockers perfected it.
These chi blockers have weird outfits on. Also, they look like
They're very Hydra agents.
Yeah, it reminded me of like
Hydra Bob.
Yeah, that's basically what it was.
That one character that stood up, and he just looks at it. Reminds him that. Oh my god, I'm not gonna get into it. Deadpool.
Oh yeah,
Bob.
But he's a little bit. Never mind. Let's not.
That's fine.
Let's not get into that.
Do your homework, kids. Hide your Bob. Look him up.
Yeah, but these chi blockers, they kick the crap out of Mako and Korra. Mako and Korra can't do anything against them.
And like I was telling, I love this scene. Like I was telling
It's
you,
really
earlier.
good.
This actually shows us that the chi blockers are a force to be reckoned with because they don't win this fight, or the Korra and Mako do not win that fight, and it's just versus two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like two guys break off from the group as the main car, the main armored vehicle, drives away with Shady Shin and Bo Lin, and maybe some other characters. I'm not sure, but then there's like maybe 4 other motorcyclists, and then the 2 that break off. So there's 6 motorcyclists in an armored truck, and 2 break off to go fight Mako or slow down Mako and Korra. And we finally get to see that these characters that follow him on are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I really enjoy this whole scene. And we get some weird camera angles.
I like
like it's almost like a fluid shot reverse shot version of when Korra's fighting one of the chi blockers. It's really neat. It's very fluid. It's different. It's a lot different than the camera angles we get from Avatar.
Yeah, definitely. These chi blockers have like other weapons in their arsenal, and we see some more later on in this episode. But they've got like bolas, and that's how what they use to take down Naga. And so not only can they block people's chi, they're very skilled in other like forms of other weapons and stuff.
They're very Batman-y.
Yeah, a little bit.
When it comes to gadgets,
it's like so Batman doesn't have superpowers, so the only thing he can do is have like extreme martial arts training and all these gadgetry and stuff. That's basically what this is.
Yeah.
Because you got all these benders.
But an army of them.
Yeah, just a ton of Batmans. That's basically what it is. And they've got like smoke grenades and stuff like that.
And shock batons.
Yeah, well, that's not until later.
That comes in the second episode, I guess, but it's fine, whatever.
No, I think that's in this episode, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah, it is. Because Mako and Bolin.
Is this the rally in
Yeah.
this episode? Yeah, okay, so yeah, this is an episode.
Okay, so yeah, basically what happens, Korra and Mako are beaten up pretty bad, and they don't have any other leads for Bolin. And they're sort of just walking around the city. Naga's getting tired. And Korra's like, oh, I got an idea. Let's go to the place where I saw the Equalists gather earlier. Because that's who we know.
That was the
takes
first
them.
episode
Yes.
that we saw him. The guy who was announcing, hey, benders are oppressors, don't follow benders. And then Korra tried to defend them and just basically gave him what he needed to fuel his argument.
It's a good thing that they always set up camp in the same place, or else Korra and Mako would be out of luck.
Think about it. It's convenient, though. Why would you camp in different places? People know where you're at.
I mean,
To
I guess.
either avoid you
I guess.
or go to see your rally, to see your points.
But yeah, fortunately, the Equalist rally shows back up, and they're handing out flyers. And the guy's up there with a megaphone, which, how does that work? I don't know how we're explaining all this different technology.
I don't know either.
But yeah, he's got a megaphone yelling, and Korra...
Maybe there's a mini combustion engine.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Korra knocks it out of his hand and breaks it on the ground, and then throws his flyers
She's
everywhere.
really strong.
Which...
Let's establish that right now.
Yeah, she picks him up with one hand.
Yes, this probably like 150-pound guy.
Well, and she also...
Takes it straight up.
Because she picked up Tenzin and Janora and Ikki and Milo or who else ever was there.
all those guys.
But
She's
yeah...
so strong.
So this is a case, like, she is clearly in the wrong right here. This is just a guy out exercising his free speech, and she comes up and takes his megaphone.
have free speech in this?
I would assume
universe?
so.
You
It's
think-
a parallel.
You think it parallels?
It's definitely a parallel to America.
That's
I don't see how you can say it's not.
I could say it's not
With
my free speech.
What are you talking about? But you're wrong. I can say you're wrong
I can be
with
wrong,
my
but
free
I can
speech.
still say it.
But yeah, she assaults this guy. She grabs him, humiliates him in front of everybody, breaks his megaphone, throws his flyers everywhere. And if this was me and I was that Equalist guy, I would say, hey, look at what they're doing.
This is clear.
This is the
clear
Avatar,
yeah.
and this is what she's doing
I'm
to
being
me.
terrorized right now.
Yeah, exactly. So she's in the wrong there, but it ends up that he's like proclaiming that there's going to be a revelation.
Yes.
Like tonight, witness to the revelation is what he says.
9 p.m.
Did he say that?
No, it's just on the flyer.
Oh, okay.
Mako Mako reads it.
They're like, well, why didn't they put like a location for this?
Oh.
Ah, yes.
So instead of taking one flyer, okay, this is crazy to me. I would have taken one flyer because I'm dumb, but I don't know why I would need more than one flyer. Because if you hold on, you see the guys that like the religious groups outside on like on street corners sometimes when they're having like a big like
giving out booklets,
an old tent revival, giving out booklets and stuff. Like those kind of guys. You see them, they don't give you like 12 flyers. They give you one. Okay, so in my mind, I'm comparing that with this.
Yeah.
And you're only going to take one flyer.
Well, yeah.
If you're passing by or if he's talking to you, he's only going to hand you one flyer. So when they create, what they do with these flyers, I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting ahead of myself. What they do with these flyers is they have a whole bunch of them. And they end up seeing that it's a map. And so they happen to have a city map next to them at this bus stop or whatever, or train, whatever it is. And they try to isolate where this red dot is,
because there's 4 different backs to each of the flyers.
Yes,
and they create a map when you put them all together.
And they happen to have grabbed all 4 of them.
Well, no, they were laying on the ground because remember Cora knocked them.
Yeah, but they moved spots.
They went to the like a bench, like a bus stop,
and they went away from where those flyers originally were.
I don't know if they went that far
with an armful. You think it was close by?
Yeah, I think it was pretty close by,
right next to it.
She just knocked him. But what I was going to say about you would only take one flyer. They're only going to give you one flyer. The point of this is for people to get together with these equalist ideas, and then once you have 4 people, maybe you can be like, oh, hey, there's a map on the back of this. So it's not to just grab like a random guy. It's like witness the revelation, and then he like a guy who doesn't really know what's going on walks up, takes one, is like, what is this? It's for groups of people who get together and they're like, oh, there's a map on the back of this. That's what I feel at least. I think that's a pretty good explanation for what
I can see that.
Because it would bring more devoted people then.
Okay. Well, because when I originally watched this show, however long ago it's been, I did not like that they had multiple, they had like a dozen just laying there in front of them.
But yeah,
just pick through. And I'm
so
like,
in my mind, they were pretty close.
Either they were close by and that was from, her kicking them everywhere, or they grabbed an armload and walked to the nearest map.
Yeah. So one of those
I'm just dumb, I guess.
One of those explains it in a way that makes sense, and the other one makes no sense. So I'm going to pick the one that makes sense just because
one of them is clunky and one of them actually is smooth.
I want to like this show, so I'm just going to choose the one that
that's what we were talking about. That's what we were talking about earlier. And in this second viewing and just discussing it with 45-minute segments, I think we're going to...
Well, more like an hour.
Yeah, you're right. I think we're going to enjoy it more than we did the first time we watched it. Because I know even though I wanted to be in this universe, I rewatched Avatar, however long ago it's been, 2 years. We'll say 2 years. I rewatched Avatar 2 years ago for the 3rd time, and I finally caught up on all the episodes because I had missed a couple episodes in the season 3, and I missed them. So I watched it all the way through, and then I segued directly into Korra.
And you're like, oh, there's a great new show. I'm going to watch this. It's going to pick up right after the series ended.
I wanted to stay in this universe as long as I could.
I get that. Yeah,
I even watched the movie.
Yeah, of course.
And so I wanted to stay in this universe as long as I could. And for 4 seasons, that's great.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
More than the original.
I was just disappointed, and I think it stemmed from little things I didn't understand because I'm stupid, like that with the... but hey, it happens throughout the series. And also because, lightning bending, Ty Lee's uniqueness, and other stuff like that. Just it was dulled down, like a metal bending. It almost was dulled down to something that wasn't unique anymore.
It almost feels like the cool things that they brought up in Avatar, like Toph discovering metal bending for the first time.
That was a whole episode worth of awesomeness.
It's almost trivialized now, but it makes sense at the same time.
Yeah, so, like they've evolved and they've taught it, and they've like you wouldn't hold on to that in a selfish way. You'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So what I always listen, I'm no giant MMA fan. Okay, I don't want anybody to say, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. But from what I hear, people who do know what they're talking about with MMA, the sport has evolved so rapidly since it first began. Just because you have people growing up in it, they bring all that technique. That's the baseline. Mm-hmm. So whatever's before them, that's their base, and then they just expand on that. I feel like that's the same.
So you're saying,
I mean, it's still martial arts. Yeah.
But the base of that gets better and better as the years.
Yeah. So
okay, I can see.
So
that.
say like when Aang, or not Aang because he's 112 years old when he starts the series, but like with Toph, right? She had nothing, so she had to basically invent all this stuff. But then when she starts teaching people, they grow up learning metal bending.
They start out at a higher level.
Yeah, so they're just going to keep expanding and expanding.
Okay, so their base learning is a higher level than Toph's original base learning.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it goes on and on.
Nothing.
Yeah, and then it goes on and on from there, and it evolves. I can see that. Okay. Yeah. And so, and since we ended up with good characters that knew all these unique traits, like Ty Lee ended up being part of the Kyoshi Warrior, so she was a good character. I can see her wanting to share her abilities. Like, hey, Ty Lee, this is kind of a unique ability that nobody else knows.
Yeah,
why don't you teach it? I mean, okay, in the show, we were not introduced to anybody else with that.
I don't know.
I will punch you in the head. $2,000 and I'll stab Caleb.
Wait, it went up?
It went up.
Okay. Okay, so where were we? Oh, yeah, they just found out the location. They pieced it together, literally.
The locale.
Excuse me. They pieced it together, literally. And they found out where the revelation was going to be held. And so they go incognito. Mako and Korra, of course, we're talking about.
Yes.
And they go to this Equalist rally, dressed up.
Okay, so we didn't pay much attention to this episode at all.
Well, I've seen it twice because I learned my lesson, and now I'm going to watch these episodes 2 times.
Ladies and gentlemen, we talk a lot during.
A lot.
We are the jerks in the theaters that talk. We try to whisper.
Oh yeah,
but we talk.
I think
throughout.
we're respectful.
Well, maybe. I mean,
that's how I enjoy watching movies.
Yeah, we're not going to pre-screenings and interrupting like the junkets.
No, of course not.
But anyways, so we talk a lot during this, so we don't pick up on everything. But there was a point I was trying to get to. I lost it.
I figured that out when you stopped talking.
It's gone for sure.
Yeah, so Korra and Mako are dressed up, and I really like how they did like sort of the style. Like, I don't entirely agree that they should have gone to 1920s New York.
I remember who it reminded me of though. She reminds me of, was it Naomi Watts in King Kong?
I would have gone with what's her name?
Well, I just recently watched Kong Skull Island.
Oh, okay.
Hashtag not my Kong, by the way.
You don't think so?
What's
the difference?
I love Peter Jackson's.
It was okay. It was way too long.
Yeah, no. It's, on DVD, it was a 3-disc adventure.
Yeah.
Oh my lord! But that was with the extra, like all the extras and nonsense.
Yeah.
I think on one DVD. Anyways, I remember what I was going to say earlier.
Oh, I was going to go with Renee Zellweger and Leatherheads. That's what it reminded me of.
Okay,
that's a great movie.
John Krasinski.
John Krasinski. George Clooney.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
It's
guys.
a good movie.
Go watch Leatherheads.
That's my recommendation for this.
Or Peter Jackson's King Kong. Better yet,
Probably Leatherheads.
Better yet, play the Peter Jackson King Kong. You'll get the same experience, less time.
No, okay, so put Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong, put it on, but then play the audio from Leatherheads.
There you go.
It lines up perfectly. It's a great experience.
So well.
About halfway through King Kong,
you're gonna want
the audio will drop
restart.
out.
You're gonna want to start it over.
Yeah, just put it back in and
make
replay
sure you have that on replay. The point I was trying to make a minute ago was: did they assume? Like, were they just going to this rally to see what was what? Oh, I totally forgot, like I said.
They just wanted to figure out where Bolin was.
Okay, or did they, this is what I'm getting to, or did they think Bolin might be here because it's an Equalist rally?
Yeah, because
so they went to this thinking Bolin might be there.
Yeah, that's their only lead. This is the only thing they could do.
That was the point I was trying to make.
Okay, thank you for bringing it back.
I'm so glad we got through that.
But yeah, they show up to this Equalist rally because they don't know where else to go.
It's a thin lead, but they have it.
So they go there and they end up getting in because, of course, and
apparently the flyer is the invitation.
And Amon is there,
in the flesh,
literally there on stage.
Yes,
spouting out about some nonsense,
spouting out philosophical nonsense.
No, not even philosophical. It's like communist
you're
crap. But they bring out 4 different benders on the stage. One is the leader of the triple threat triad. Maybe
he had a cool name.
John
Krasinski, the second.
And then I think was not
Shady
Shin. Was he up there?
I don't know.
And then another guy. And then at the end was Bolin.
Yeah, well, there were 4 guys. There's actually in one of the goofs that third guy doesn't show up to be
show up on stage.
Yeah, well he's up on. There's 4 people up on stage, but they take the bending away from the first guy.
Okay.
And the second guy.
Okay, so wait, why don't we? You just
skipped
over.
Huge part.
So they just take the bending away. So
whatever.
Apparently, Amon has the power to take people's bending away.
I'm trying to find that guy's name.
And he shows this. So the leader of the triple threat triads, he's pretty powerful.
He can lightning bend.
Yeah, a lot of them can lightning bend.
I guess that's true.
But his lightning bend looks more forceful. And he holds it for a long time.
Lightning Bolt Zolt.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I was going to get you there.
So he probably had that nickname before lightning was like prevalent, and now it's
he's just kind of some small timer.
Oh, you can lightning bend.
Lightning Bolt Zolt.
But it does look pretty powerful. So Amon says, before I take his bending away, I'm going to give him a chance to defend himself. And they sort of fight with Amon just basically dodging all the fire and lightning, and then grabbing the guy's hand. and doing basically what Aang did at the end of the series, putting his other hand on the guy's face.
It's less drawn out though.
It's
immediate.
Yeah.
There's no glowing red and glowing blue. It's I can take your chi away in
but
like 2 seconds.
there is, and we both thought this was really cool in the episode. The guy's still lightning bolt Zolt is still lightning bending, like he's holding a bolt out for a long time while Amon is doing this, and as Amon is doing his special technique or whatever, the bending goes back from lightning to fire, and then eventually it's gone, and he just falls over on the floor.
It was a de-evolution of his bending, and we thought
you
that
could
was
see
really
you could
cool.
see Amon sucking the bending out of him. Basically,
it was awesome.
Amon's a really good villain so far.
Which, like I said, I think the villains. I will not dive too much into this, but I think the villains in this show were so much more impactful.
Yeah, they're very good.
If you hated this show with a passion, you cannot deny me that the villains were better in this show than they were in.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree. I can see both sides, but
I got to kind of agree out of him, so that's fine. I'll take it.
So now that Korra and Mako have seen that Bolin's there, Mako comes up with a plan. Korra's going to go create a distraction. She's going to go rupture a water main or whatever.
The old diversion tactic.
Yeah, and she's going to put fog in the room, or mist, and Mako's going to go take Bolin off the stage, and they're going to get out of there. So Korra goes off and does her thing. She eventually gets the fog, and then everything works out. But then they're confronted outside by some chi benders, or not chi benders.
They bend your chi.
Yes, chi blockers, who try to get away. But Korra and Mako have wised up now, and I think Bolin even fights. This is the first time we do get to see Bolin in actual fight.
Yes, because Bolin and Mako are the first ones to be outside in the alleyway, and they get stopped by this.
Yeah.
By one single chi blocker, I think it is.
Yeah, he's got those.
This is where we get introduced to.
He's got the lightning sticks.
More of their lightning sticks, yeah. And we actually do get to see them, and they're no longer pro bending. We get to see their actual defensive, their fight or flight in action, and they actually, going with the fight, they get to see themselves. We get to see them defending themselves with bending, and it's awesome. It's pretty cool. I don't think it's as good as Avatar choreography. Still, I'm still not sold.
I like the camera work.
The camera work. The
camera work.
Whatever you want, we're gonna call it camera work.
The framework,
yes.
maybe.
It's much more unique and much different and much more aggressive than what we saw.
It looks like traditional action scenes.
Yes,
it really does.
But the choreography, I think they rely more heavily on the camera angles than they do on the choreography, because the choreography was something that was almost breathtaking sometimes in Avatar. It was beautiful.
I still think I think it holds up, but we don't need to talk anymore about that.
That's fine.
Yeah. So Mako and Bolin are getting their butts kicked by the guy with the lightning rods.
Hydra Bob.
No.
He talks. He has a line. We're gonna call him.
He says, "No." That always reminds me of what's that?
Phantom Menace.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Jedi voodoo. Anyways, Doug's
Star Wars reference. Yeah, so Korra saves the day, and they run off into the
typical.
Yeah, into the sunset. Not really, but
abyss.
Kind of. And Amon's like, "Hey, don't go after them. She's gonna go tell everyone what I can do," which is crazy to think. Like, he can literally take people's bending away.
Yes, we've seen it firsthand.
And the only person who had been able to do that before was Avatar Aang, as Tenzin says.
And is this the first, I wouldn't say introduction, first visual representation of him actually taking the bending away from somebody to the general audience?
Yeah,
because there were hundreds of people.
Because that's what the revelation is.
Yeah, there were hundreds of people at this rally. Okay,
I know. I saw.
Okay, so those people will go tell their friends. It's some street level, word of mouth.
Well, I don't even know if they would, because remember we have like the tight equalists.
Yeah, but also the people that were going to those people on the streets and picking up those posters.
Yeah,
and just go and just see. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Let's see what this is about.
That's why they're sort of weeding them out with like the secrecy and stuff.
Okay,
so they want to bring people in, but I don't know if they want to reveal.
I think there will be a few people who are not as tight-lipped as
probably.
Most. So
but then those people are like, "No, you're crazy. What are you talking about?"
So it's not a huge word of mouth, but it's very street. So it's very small. But then you have Korra.
Yeah, that's what Amon's relying on Korra for, because she's going to come and say, "Hey, he can take people bending away," and people are going to believe her because she's the Avatar.
Because the media still listens to, as we've seen, the Avatar. People are like, "Hey, let's see what she's doing, and she'll tell you. And she's, I don't know if she does, but Tarlok. We can choose Tarlok.
This is the next episode.
Are we into the next episode yet?
No, we're not.
We're not.
We got to do a break before. We got to read some sponsor spots. Yeah, but so the episode ends with Korra telling Tenzin about the ability of Amon to take people's bending away, and they're both kind of shaken because that's crazy.
Or as the kids would say, shook.
Would they
take that fad words?
Okay. So that's the end of the episode. Let's do a little bit of like some trivia stuff. Is that all right with you?
I mean, it is all right with me.
Okay, so there's not that much trivia yet again for this episode. So we got some series continuity that we're going to go over just a little bit.
If you want to dive on into that, I would not be upset.
Okay, so we do get that Mako and Bolin's parents were murdered by a firebender in 160 AG after genocide or airbender genocide. I forget which one.
Why don't you click on it? I bet it's click on
No,
it.
because then that'll take me off the trivia, and we kind of need the trivia.
I'll click on it.
But yeah, so we do get that Mako and Bolin have been orphans for about 10 years, I think it is. I think it's 170 AG at the present.
We did some math earlier with that. We did some simple math.
Yeah, so we also, working back from that, so since it's 170 and we know Korra is 17 years old, that means that Aang died in 153?
I think that's what you said. I think that's what we came to the conclusion we came to.
So he was only 65 years old when he died, as opposed to Roku, who was like ancient.
Yeah,
like hundreds of years old.
Aang was technically 107 or 100 and however old he was, but he had
he'd only actually lived 65 years. So I think that my point still stands.
No, it does.
Yeah. So then we also get Lightning Bolt Zolt's reaction to Amon removing his firebending mirrors Ozai's reaction when Aang removed his firebending in the last episode. Not only did Zolt say this exact same line, but he also unsuccessfully tried to firebend before falling over, completely exhausted. And that's super cool. I really like that.
The parallels?
Yeah, how they even like brought the exact same line. Because that's what you think. What did you do to me?
Yeah, well, I like I like watching it, because when I was watching it, too, I'm like, man, this is very reminiscent of when Aang took bending away from Ozai. Like, it's obviously, I think it's lessened, because he's not taking away, it's not a good guy taking the bending away from this all-powerful evil.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different.
It's a bad guy taking it from, like, a kind of bad guy.
But I like taking the, a radicalist taking away the bending from a thug.
So, are they trying to make you feel bad for the triads or for Amon?
I'm not sure.
Like, how is that? Because Amon reveals that his dad was killed by a firebender who burned his face, right? Is that what he says?
I think they're trying to take this, what we've seen. Okay, so we've already seen the triple threat triads being bullies.
Yes.
We saw that in the first episode. So I think with this rally, they're trying to get you to sympathize with Amon by taking out the leader of these bullies.
I thought they might be trying to make you sympathize with the triads.
Is that what you think?
Because
you see it from, if we're seeing it from Korra's point of view, as in Amon's being this guy who can take away from bending, and Korra's a bender, and that's terrifying to her. If we see that, then we can see that we're kind of feeling sorry. We, as an audience, are feeling sorry for the triple threat Lightning Bolt Zolt. But as the audience in show, who went to the rally, they're feeling sorry for Amon.
But we also got in this episode that Mako and Bolin used to be affiliated with the triple threat triads. So I'm wondering if they're trying to sort of downplay like the thuggish, gangish activity.
They're not the evil that you think they are.
Yeah.
They're just
bad guys.
They're just gangs. I can't just say just gangs. I mean, gangs, look at Inglewood, but whatever. You gangs.
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's all you got.
This next piece of trivia is something that I disagree with very strongly.
Let's hear it.
Chi blocking has evolved from a unique trait to Ty Lee.
Shut up.
To a well-known art used by the Equalists.
I won't let you disrespect Ty Lee.
Nope, and we don't need to talk anything more about that.
And it's air nomad genocide.
It is air nomad genocide.
Yes,
it should be ANG.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, so the image on the invitation to the rally bears a similarity to real-life communist propaganda posters from Stalinist Russia, with Amon in place of Joseph Stalin. So that's the thing I've been getting all along. Oh, the benders are oppressors. That's something straight out of like communism, socialism.
Yes, and I've seen propaganda like posters and stuff like that
It's very similar.
But I've seen very little of it. You would know more about the history stuff than I would. If you haven't gotten this from this yet, Caleb's the smarter of the two of us.
This next piece of trivia is I really like this piece of trivia. It's really cool. Just that some of the throwbacks that were given. Amon's evasive maneuvers when battling Lightning Bolt Zolt resemble the weaving patterns present in the Camelophat strut, which Aang performed in the headband when all the dancing stuff, the Footloose episode.
Okay, I'm with you. When you said that originally, I'm like, when we were vetting these, I was like, I don't know what that means. All I heard was elephant.
Oh yeah, so he's like doing the dances and stuff, and it does look like what he was doing because he's sort of like hunched over doing like that classic anime run.
I love that.
But yeah, I really like how they're just throwing a little bit of stuff. Maybe Amon is Aang.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna sound dumb. This is gonna sound so stupid. So, go off a little on a tangent here. Remember when?
We really don't have the time.
We do. Remember when they first came out with the Star Wars trailer for the new? Hold on.
Oh, surprise! Yeah, surprise!
The sequel trilogy, and they're like, maybe Luke's the bad guy. And that was a huge theory people ran with. Okay, so I had already had that implanted in my head when I went to go watch the show. Like, hey, maybe the good guy can be the bad guy. But then when I watched the show again, I'm dumb. Let's take that in stride. I'm dumb. So when I rewatch this, I'm like, okay, so the Avatar dies and a new Avatar is born that day that they die.
Yeah.
Like down to the second. And I'm like, that's cool. But I'm like, maybe he found a way to cheat death.
No.
And he's a bad guy now. So in my head, I'm like, that's a cool theory to run with.
That would be pretty cool.
It would be.
I would hate that.
So would I, because it wouldn't make
evil.
sense.
Yeah.
And so Aang would be evil. Like,
what if he got corrupted? What if it's his body?
Maybe something corrupted him. There's a lot of spirits at play here.
Yeah, because Book 2 of Korra is called Book 2 Spirits. So
we get a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, you never know.
Including Stephen Yin.
See, that would have been really cool for the show if they would have been like, Korra is trying, the first time she like masters the spiritual side of the Avatar, she looks back and she can only see Avatar Roku, and Aang's not there in the spirit lineup. That would be so cool. So she's like,
what is this?
Yeah, so like, you know how like Aang sort of like looked over to like one side and all the avatars.
Row of avatars.
What if it was like that for Korra, but Aang wasn't there and she had to talk to Avatar Roku, and he's like, I don't know where he's at, and they pulled him out of the Avatar cycle, and he's Amon now
because he was spiritually corrupted.
That would be awesome.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah, it would be so cool. And they could bring back the characters and stuff, and then Katara could have to fight Aang, but like not fight him, but like try to save him, you know. And then he ends up dying by Katara's hand, and she's so, you know.
Listen up, podcast nerds. Go write some fanfic. I know some of you morons. Sorry, some of you, morons. I'll say it. Are on Tumblr. All right, so I know you know what fanfics are.
I think that
make us one.
I think we should write that though, because that's super cool.
Now I want it by tomorrow on my desk tomorrow. By noon.
Let's do a comic book, and Elijah can draw the comic book for us, and we'll write it.
Can Elijah draw?
He's a graphic designer. That's literally what he does.
I don't know anything about Elijah.
Yeah. Let's totally do that. We're pushing it though.
Elijah, I did not mean any offense when I said that. If you're listening, I love you.
We need to end this segment because we're going on a really long time.
So are you saying that we should go into a sponsor advert?
Yeah, let's do that right now. Do you like electric engines? Do you want something that makes less sense for the reality we live in? Why don't you come on down to Sato Automotive and try one of our new combustion? It's using fire instead of electric.
My fellow equalists, this is your leader, Amon. As you have heard, the Republic Council has voted to make me public enemy #1, proving once again that the bending oppressors of this city will stop at nothing to quash our revolution. But we cannot be stopped. Our numbers grow stronger by the day. You no longer have to live in fear. The time has come for benders to experience fear.
And we're back.
And we just wanted to give a big thank you to our sponsors again, Sato Automotive. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that combustion engine, it sounds like, I mean, they really went into detail and described exactly how it worked during the ad, and that was nice.
A lot of information they gave.
Yeah, I really liked all the information that we got from that.
Really sold one to me. I might buy one. So.
Yeah, of course. I mean, with that ad, that was just a great ad read. That was probably my favorite ad that we've done so far, I think. Okay, so we're just going to get into the next episode, which was the Night in the Life, or what was it called?
I don't know.
The Thief in the
Oh,
Night.
the voice in the night.
The Voice in the Night. I knew it. I was on the right page.
I had it pulled up. I looked right at it.
Okay, yeah. So the Voice in the Night. This is like all about. I mean the entire show.
Hey, don't steal my thunder.
All about. What are you talking about? Oh yeah. We got some new segments on the show that I'm still trying to cope with.
Hey, that's fair. All right.
Okay, so you want to give us like a quick rundown of this?
I would love to. Okay, here we are. I'm so sorry. You want to cut this all out?
No, I'm just gonna fill some space.
Okay, all right.
Combustion engines, right?
Avatar Korra is still mentally struggling after witnessing Amon demonstrate his magnificent ability to remove a person's bending. Councilman Tarlok, who we get introduced to in this episode, creates a task force
I like Tarlok.
to eradicate the equalists.
Not really. I don't like him as a character, but I think his character's
He's
cool.
kind of a jerk.
Yeah, no, he's a terrible person.
To eradicate the equalists and pressures Korra to join. After participating in a successful raid, she challenges Amon to a midnight duel.
Is that it?
That's it.
They skipped over a lot of stuff that happens in
It's
this
an
episode.
overview.
Yeah, but
It's not a synopsis.
no, I feel like that an overview would talk a little bit more about any other characters. You know?
Well, it is the Legend of Korra, not the Legend of Korra and Friends.
Well, I mean, I think Korra should step out of the spotlight a little bit. But let's fill in a little bit.
Let's
the
make
gaps.
it Korra and Friends.
Yeah, Korra and Friends. That's my new favorite Nickelodeon show. It's not.
That was a Spider-Man thing, wasn't it? Spider-Man and Friends.
I think so. There was definitely friend or
back
foe.
back in
Spider-Man
the
friend or
70s.
foe. That was a game.
It was not a good game.
You don't think so? I remember enjoying it when
We
I
were
first
kids
played
when
it.
it came out.
That's true.
I replayed it here recently. 'Cause I got my PS2 out.
It probably doesn't hold up. No,
It doesn't.
Not any Spider-Man game except for
The cutscenes are good though.
Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 1's okay, I guess.
Spider-Man
It's
1
got
was
some
fun.
cool. You can play as a Green Goblin.
Did you ever
Do you remember that? Yeah, it was awesome.
I love it.
It was great controls and everything.
I remember staying at Adams all the time though and playing
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
That
and we
scene
couldn't
when you got
beat
to Liberty Island.
Yeah, that's
That was
exactly.
so tough.
We sat there.
That game
for
was
all
so
night.
good.
It was such a good game. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Korra and Friends. It's not. This episode's not only about Korra, but it is. I mean, I guess there is a lot of focus on Korra because she's pretty rattled after what happened with Amon.
Yeah, she's seen firsthand that the one thing she's been training with her whole life can be taken away in a matter of seconds.
And it's just a guy.
Yeah,
a guy could just take it from her.
It's nobody important. Like she can just do this.
And I think she still doesn't feel comfortable around the chi blockers. Like that's probably the first time that she's ever tried to bend and not been able to.
And it almost seems as if Mako has dealt with them before.
Well,
Because
yeah,
at one point in time, he said, "Don't worry, it'll wear off."
He's lived in this world, and he's also been involved with the triple threat triads.
Yeah, so maybe he's had his chi block before because she freaks out because she's like, she tries it multiple times. She's like, "I can't bend. I can't bend." Like that's insane, man.
And we also got to remember that she has grown up in a remote location with the White Lotus Society. She hasn't been exposed to hardly anything, although she does know what pro bending is. So, but she doesn't know.
I think she's heard rumors of it. Like she hasn't actually experienced like a match up until she came to the island.
She said she always did want to see a match.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's pretty shaken up, and we actually start off with a dream sequence of Amon coming and taking her bending away.
Jumps us right into the episode of what we could assume is a dream sequence, and then it actually delves into it. It comes off as
pretty
reality.
obvious it's a dream sequence.
Yeah, because the chi 4 or 5 chi blockers break in and then knock her down, and then Amon comes up and tries to take her bending away, and then she jumps up out of her nightmare.
Although it almost feels like to me, I can't remember exactly what episode it was when in Avatar: The Last Airbender when Azula showed up at the very first of the episode, and they had to run away from the air temple they were at. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Season?
Yeah, it's the last season, and Zuko almost sacrifices himself to take out Azula.
Okay.
It reminds me of that because that always felt
Jarring.
Yeah, to me, like they just thrust that in the opening, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities for them to start off with something like
they
that.
have done it before.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of the same thing, kind of a little different because they would take away the main character's ability to bend, but
Immediately.
Yeah.
Just out of the gate.
yeah. So And it's we do get introduced to Tarlok, who is part of like the council for a public city. One of the 5 members.
We
of the council.
have now seen the council that I guess runs the city.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. It looked like all the bending elements were represented, but I would have figured they have 5 people. I thought the first time I watched this that Tarlok was not a bender, and that he was like the voice of the non-benders on the council. I don't think they have one.
You don't think because we saw Tarlok bend earlier.
Yeah, he bends later on the episode. He's a waterbender, but I thought that the other people there were dressed like benders, and you have Tenzin, obviously that's an airbender, and then 3. I thought those 3 were the Earth Wind.
I really want to look it up now, so I'm going to do that.
What do you mean? Oh, the representation.
Who's on? Yeah, who's on? Go ahead.
Tarlok is he's very anti-Amon, and he wants to get together this task force and take down Amon, basically. But he wants Avatar Korra to help him, and Tenzin does not want to go along with this at all. And we sort of get the idea that Tarlok and Tenzin have sort of a history. Tenzin does not like Tarlok whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean Tarlok's kind of
he's
kind of a bully.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
He's a bully, and you can see that in the way he manipulates Korra in this episode. Because
and I really like it though.
Yeah, because he says he comes into Tenzin's house, to his home. He violates that privacy without his permission.
He's an airbender, so he can't turn away a hungry traveler or whatever.
But he violates that knowingly. Like he's like I said, being a bully about it, and
he's preying off of people's weakness. That's what you get a feeling. That's what he's good at, because he feels like just like a politician. Like what you'd think of as like a sleazy politician, you know? Mm-hmm. That's what he feels like to me. So he's really good at reading people and getting people to do what he wants.
Yes, and you see that in the way he acts among the airbending supper, I guess. I'm losing my charismatic awesomeness right now.
Yeah, so he shows up at the supper, and
he sits down directly next to Korra.
Yeah,
and which is right across from Tenzin. So
and he's just going off into this diatribe. He's talking about like the state of things, and Tenzin's like, "Okay, what do you want?"
And he's like,
"Why are you here?"
All right, so he asks Korra to help him on this task force, which we were talking about earlier, which is to infiltrate the Chi blockers and take down Amon from the like a direct assault team, basically like a SWAT team for Amon.
Yeah, and Korra says almost immediately, "No, I don't want to do it," and this surprises everyone. Like Tarlok surprised, even Tenzin is like, I thought that you would jump at the chance to like go after bad guys or whatever.
Because again, she's very aggressive. We've seen the way she acts. Again, when we were first introduced to her, she's very, hey, I'm the Avatar. You got to deal with it.
Right off the bat.
And so she's a very aggressive Avatar. It's a different take on the Avatar. It's not Aang anymore. He's not defensive. She's very progressive, and I like that a lot. Well, I wouldn't say progressive. That's
aggressive.
Wrong word. My bad. It slipped. But so, anyways, yeah,
she also is very progressive later on in the series. Yeah, so
I don't want to talk about it.
But she's scared right now. Like we get to see that, and that's what this episode's about. Is her? She's legitimately terrified
with
of Amon.
that nightmare, and we get a little segment later on where
and she's never really felt fear before, as she says later on the show. She's not afraid. She's never been afraid of anybody.
She hasn't had to be,
but she is now.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
She's never really. I don't think in her, what'd you say, 17 years of her life has she ever had a real struggle. Because again, you deal with people like that in real life.
Yeah.
People who don't know actual struggles. People who are just, they're handed things their whole life. Well, she's the Avatar, she's an Avatar in a time of peace. She doesn't need to be out fighting the war for anything, She's 17 years old. She's just coming to adulthood. I mean, she hasn't really had to deal with any hardships or anything.
No.
And that's fair.
She said in the last episode she'd been taken care of her entire life. She's never needed money or anything.
And people exist like that. And that's
why we need the equalists, because they're going to take down our oppressors and make everybody equal.
Exactly my point, Caleb. Exactly my point.
Thank you. I'm glad that we finally got something done on this podcast. So she initially denies Tarlok's request to join the task force, and he keeps sending her gifts and sort of amping up. Or ramping up, I should say. I guess it's almost the same thing. But they keep getting more extravagant. And he's trying to basically woo her into doing what he wants her to do.
Yeah, because again, he's very manipulative.
And while this is all going on, we get a little bit more of Mako. And actually an introduction of a new key character. Okay, before you say it, she's not that bad. I don't know why. I don't know why you don't like it.
Listen, my perspective on this character might change.
It's definitely going to change. I'm going to make it change.
Because like the show, it's changing gradually. My perspective originally of the show was I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Okay. And my perspective of...
Why don't you take off those tinted sunglasses and look at it with your eyes?
My original perspective of this character was garbage. I did not like it. She was hollow and she was pointless. Like you said earlier, you made a good point. She funds everything they do. And that to me is the extent of her character development.
I don't know. I haven't seen this in a while. It might get better.
Again, I'm just generalizing this whole
If you haven't
series.
Put together who we're talking about, we get to meet Asami.
Asami Sato.
Yes. She hits Mako with her combustion engine motorbike.
Hate it.
And he's immediately smitten.
Well, she's very beautiful.
Oh yeah, but it's sort of they did a good job with this.
To me, in this show, that's all she's done.
But they
just be attractive.
But that's fine if that's what her character needs, because we sort of have like this love triangle thing going on now, where Korra's really into Mako. Mako doesn't even know that Korra, like he knows that Korra exists, but he doesn't care at all. And we get to see a little bit of more of that. But Asami comes in and is like, "Oh, I'm sorry for hitting you, Mako. Let me take you out to dinner.
Let me buy you
wink,
this.
wink.
Let me buy you this nice outfit.
Yeah." And he's like,
and this nice scarf.
Yeah. So they go to a fancy restaurant, and Mako doesn't have the clothes. She's like, "Oh, I'll just buy it for you."
Yeah.
And then we find out that she's Asami Sato.
He doesn't
heir
question
to the Sato mobile.
He doesn't question where this money's coming from. He's just like, "Oh, new clothes. That's awesome." And then he finds out that she is Hiroshima.
Not Hiroshima.
Hiroshi.
That's
Hiroshi Sato. That's his name. Hiroshi Sato's daughter, who runs Satomobiles, which is all the vehicles you've seen running around Republic City. Which is awesome. So he's
our Henry Ford character.
So he's wealthy. He's very wealthy.
But she gives them the good news, tying it back into the previous episode, that her dad wants to sponsor them.
Yay!
To play in the pro bending tournament. Which it's great, and they bring that news back to Bolin and Korra, but Korra is not really into the pro bending right now.
So, what do you think? There's an angle there?
I don't know.
with Sato to get on the Avatar's good side, or to
I don't even know if it's like the Avatar.
Have the Avatar on his back. Well, it's the Avatar's on the pro bending team, and he knows that.
Yes,
I mean,
maybe.
I think the dinner and the suit make up for Asami running over Mako.
But
I think that makes up for that. So
it's clear Asami is into Mako at this point. So
okay,
anything for that, she's like, "Hey,"
but she doesn't need to get her dad involved, really. So
but she's like, "Hey, Dad, why don't you sponsor this guy's team? I really like him." I think that's like it.
You think that's what it is?
I think
my theory is that
I was gonna break out into my best white girl voice, but I didn't want to.
Like totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
so,
Daddy. Like, I don't know. That's just what I think that she would say.
Have you never done a white girl voice, Caleb?
No, I haven't. Actually, that was my first attempt. But
just picture Starbucks and UGG boots.
No, but what I'm saying, she was probably like, "Hey, come on, help me out here."
Okay, so that's your idea. My theory is a little different. My theory is that Hiroshi's not a great guy. He's very not manipulative.
Yeah,
but he wants.
I don't know. I think you're inflating capitalism.
But he wants connections. Like, in my mind, I want connections everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
I want connections. Like, he's not a terrible person. Like, he just wants connections. So he wants the Avatar in his back pocket.
Yeah, and that might be the case because...
Maybe she's like, "Hey, this is the pro bending team. Mako's on it." And he's like, "Oh, who else is on this team?" Okay, like, it's just a conversation over dinner. And she's like, "Oh, Bolin, his brother, and also the Avatar." And he's like, "Oh, the Avatar, that's interesting. Let me sponsor this tournament."
Maybe. But we also, at the same time this is going on, Korra has been straight up refusing Tarlok every opportunity. But then she gets notice that there's going to be a banquet held in her honor.
A gala.
Yeah, thrown by Tarlok. And so she's like, "Okay, maybe I'll just go to this gala. This could be pretty cool." And so she shows up, and there's a whole... The who's who of Republic City is there. Sato's there, and we get to see Mako and Asami.
Yes, with Asami in tow. And that is the first introduction to her. She's kind of... okay. Well, we're in 4 episodes now?
Yeah.
So 3 episodes for her, and originally introduced to Mako. There's kind of a thing built here.
Yeah.
And so...
And they really hit that hard in this episode.
Back to the love triangle thing that you were saying is what I'm going with this. So she's kind of stressed out by that. She's like, "Oh, all right, so some other girl's moving on this guy that I kind of have a thing for." Because earlier, Ikki and Janora said, "Hey, he's kind of cute. Is this the guy that keeps you awake or whatever they said?"
They said some
whatever they
ridiculous
said.
stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's cool. All right, so it's kind of built. She kind of has a thing for Mako, and then Asami swoops in and takes him.
And Mako's smitten.
And so she's kind of
like kittens.
Yes, well, whatever.
Smitten mittens on a kitten. Smitten like mittens on a kitten is the saying
Kitten mittens.
that we all know and love.
Charlie Day, thank you. Kitten mittens.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, so we so we have that. So she's kind of stressed out from that. And then Tarlok again is using his manipulativeness to paint Korra into a corner. And so she's upset right now with Mako and Asami. She knows nothing about Asami. But then she has the pressures of being the Avatar versus Amon right now. And
so,
then all the whole press is there.
Yeah, this is what I really, really like.
Yes, go ahead. This is what I was getting
flattery has not been working for Tarlok. He's a politician. He knows. Okay, so
he knows how to work the people.
He gave her a Satomobile, like just gifted it to her. So, and that might be also something that he knows Sato, and they're like working together or something like that.
Maybe,
I don't know. But what I really love about this is he's like, okay, flattery's not going to get me anywhere. I've got to force her hand. So he throws the gala. And he's bringing her down like as the guest of honor or whatever. And all the press comes up that we think that he's called all the press to be there. And they're asking her questions like,
oh yeah, he has been giving her gifts. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do about Amon? If you really care about the city, why haven't you joined Tarlok's task force?
She's getting sort of bombarded with questions.
She's painted into a corner. She can't just say, she ends up saying like, oh, I'm going to focus on my training. And they're like, so you really don't care about the people of Republic City because you're not going to help Tarlok? And she's like, I guess I'll help Tarlok. And she's forced into that answer by the media.
You can see it build up to all the stress and all the pressure of everything builds into this. It comes to a head right here, and she just kind of blows up. She's like, fine, I will be on this SWAT team.
That's when she flips out and says, I'm not afraid of anybody because they're pressuring her. Are you afraid of Amon? And she totally is. But she doesn't want to admit that. So she's like, okay, I guess I have to do this now. And I really like how Tarlok did that. He's conniving.
So now she's part of this little task force.
Yeah, and she's slacking on her pro bending duty. She's not showing up to practice, which is it's understandable. She's trying to take down this
she's been megalomaniac.
Well, I was going to say, is that megalomaniacal? I think that's a word, right?
We can make it a word.
I guess
maniacal is a word and megalomaniac is a word. So let's just put them.
There we go. Megalomaniacal. If that's not a word, I want credit for that right now.
He's going to coin the word.
Megalomaniacal. Okay, yeah, so she's focusing on taking down Amon while Bolin and Mako. Mako's really, he's really going after it with Asami. They're making some advances in relationship-wise. Mostly just her giving him gifts.
I don't like her as a character.
But we do get his scarf is revealed that was his father's scarf.
In this episode?
Yes, that's in this episode because
I guess I missed
Asami's like, no, we talked about it.
No, I know, but she said that why didn't you like take the new silk scarf I was going to give you last night?
Yeah,
he's like, well, this is I guess I missed that.
My father's scarf, and he believes it brings him good luck, which I have to call something out on the show because the previous episode, he gives the scarf to Korra when they're like in disguise going into the revelation.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
No, and she just uses it to beat a guy up, like she's wrapping around the guy's neck and stuff. I don't think he really cares about that scarf, or they just thought about that for this episode, which doesn't seem like Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino.
You know what I thought about when the guy when the tailor originally touched this?
Please tell.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
in Head Over Heels
in Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah, when he's flipping the
hey! Don't touch the ascot. Or watch the ascot.
Oh no, I was thinking when he's flipping the doesn't he have like a like fabric or something?
Oh,
and he's hitting somebody with it.
I can't remember.
And like, is it the very first part of Scooby-Doo?
Maybe, but he wears those ascots.
Yeah,
things.
I know about the ascot. Those are great movies. I still enjoy them.
So underrated.
And the animation not too bad. Scooby doesn't look that bad.
I mean, have you watched the first one?
Oh
recently?
no, I know it's not good.
The monsters look terrible.
Oh, the monster in the first one? Oh yeah, no, yeah.
I'll accept Scooby-Doo, but the monsters look terrible.
Yeah. Oh, we all know why you take. This is what we want. Yeah. No, I love that movie.
Are we nerds? Maybe.
Yeah. So where were we?
I don't know. We're just talking about good quality movies.
We're gonna need to wrap this up. We are. It's now 3:00 at night.
Hey, you want to know the answers to everything else I was talking about earlier?
Well, the representation.
There's no names.
Oh, nice.
Sokka was on it, and Tarlok.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Tenzin. Those are the
Hey!
those are
Spoilers.
Those are
That's a spoiler.
Those are the only names we get. No,
Okay.
it's not.
Yes,
Sokka
it
was
is.
murdered, and we know. No, we don't know if he's murdered. We just know he's dead. Katara talked about it in the first episode.
I know, but we didn't know he was on the council.
No, he was on the council. Oh shoot!
Oh yeah.
That's fine.
okay.
Somebody had to
So-
represent the Water Tribe before Tarhawk. He couldn't have been there as forever.
Wouldn't you want a waterbender representing the water tribe? Katara?
Not necessarily. He's from the Water Tribe.
I don't know. I guess.
Hey.
I wonder if he was like it was Sokka, and this is not spoilers because it's conjecture. Was Sokka like a higher up or like a military leader or something? You think? Does Republic City have like a?
Well, Toph.
Well, yeah,
They
but
have
that's
a-
like
they have
a police force.
Police chief, yeah.
Yeah. So do they have a military presence?
Like
at
a
all?
standing military?
Yeah. Probably not. 'Cause
Why
it's
would they
just a
need one?
city.
Because everyone's living in harmony. It's a time of peace.
Yeah. They ostensibly they live in harmony. The reality.
They're trying to be more progressive by creating Republic City.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah, look how that turned out. You got some people who can take away bending.
Dummies. Crime in the streets.
Okay, so the question I asked before, where were we? What were we talking about? That still stands. If you want to jump in there, in the episode, I mean.
Oh, they were on the task force.
Oh, yeah,
doing
so-
task forcey things.
yeah,
they
so
work
they-
well as a team together. Tarlok and Korra.
Yeah, so they go in and raid like an equalist training camp for the chi blockers.
And I was talking about this really cool scene in the show. I like how there's no score.
Yeah,
When they initially jump
dropped
in
out.
and they start fighting, it's really nice. It reminds me of The Walking Dead. I remember watching an interview about The Walking Dead, and they were saying that we like during the fight scenes to leave the music out.
Yeah.
Because it creates that sense of realness. And I love it. It feels more raw. But
I
then
really think
immediately
they
dives
do-
into a chase scene, and you get the score back immediately.
Well, but that
yeah,
I mean,
I love it. I love the
okay.
transition. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I really like the way you said that you thought the choreography in Avatar was better. They do it well for what they're doing because this is not like an Avatar fight where you got two people fighting basically, and that's usually what it is or about that. This is like a task force that they're raiding something, and so it has a completely different feel. And I think they really do a good job on that.
Okay, I just haven't been sold on the choreography just yet. I mean, I can see your point of view.
Yeah, I really like. I really do think that I like the way they're doing.
Maybe this again. We're only in the 4th episode. Maybe further on down, I'll
Yep.
be like, hey, you know what? It's on par.
No spoilers, but yeah, I think maybe you will.
No spoilers, but yeah, the choreography is amazing.
Yeah, so Tarlok saves Korra's life, kind of. There's a guy getting ready to attack her. I don't think she was in real danger.
Was it set up? Is Tarlok part of the Equalists?
I don't know.
Find out next time.
Spoilers. Yeah, so after this raid, Korra does like a press conference or whatever, and she's like, hey, Amon, if you're man enough, come fight me. I'll be at the Big Ben on the island. That's basically what it is. It's a giant clock.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
When Tony Stark gave the Mandarin his address, and then he got his house blown up.
Oh. Well, how does that... I mean, kind of, I guess a little bit.
He's like, you man enough? My address is this, and this. I guess it's just one this. but
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
And then he gets his house blown up.
Korra says, hey, Amon, if you're not too much of a chicken, come fight me at midnight. And everyone's like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. Maybe we should like find Amon and like have the element of surprise or something like that. You know, like military strategy. Not just like okay, Amon, if you want to get the jump on me, I'm going to be right here.
Yeah, I mean, the task force thing is working, Korra. Why ruin it?
Yeah,
Why be a hot
They're doing a good job. They're making news. The newspapers are
clearly
hot off the
works.
press, as they like to say in the biz.
Clearly worked.
Yeah.
Clearly.
But she goes there at midnight, and Amon doesn't show up. Or so we think.
And so she calls it quits and says, all right, I guess I'm going to call it a night. He was too chicken to show up. And then then she starts walking away and gets ambushed.
She walks in front of a dark doorway, which you should never do.
Yeah, never do that, kids.
And these
Learn from Korra.
the bolas shoot out and grab her and pull her into the dark.
And I'm assuming that that those goggles make them, God bless America, they're like,
See in the dark?
yeah, like
Oh, I don't know
night
about
vision
that.
goggles, because it goes dark and they converge on her and take her down super easy. And they all have those goggles on and she can't see a thing. Remember, she has to firebend
Yeah.
to illuminate her surroundings.
Maybe. I don't know
So
how they
maybe
would do that.
I don't know, magic.
I guess.
We'll touch a spirit dust.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Okay. Isn't that like pixie dust?
Making it up, man.
Make them fly?
Hey, speaking of pixies, have you seen the trailer for Bright?
No, I don't even know what
You
that
don't
is.
watch
I don't
trailers.
want
Never mind.
Yeah, and I
It's-
also don't
it's-
want to talk about that
it's
on
Will
the
S-
podcast.
it's Will Smith.
If
Go
you
wa-
want to.
Go watch it, kids.
Oh, wait, no, it's like a Netflix movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen something about that. Let's not talk about that right
It looks
now.
good.
Okay. let's not talk about that. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Director
but
of Fury, director of End to Watch,
director
going.
Ayer.
David Ayer.
Yeah.
End to Watch was really good.
Okay, let's not talk about that right now. Let's.
So is Fury.
Hey,
Oh
we're
my
gonna
God.
wrap this episode up. We're gonna wrap it up right now.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are
So
you gonna take us away with trivia, Caleb?
no, because we haven't finished the. Just let me finish
You said wrap
the
it up.
narrative. Yes, I'm going to wrap up the narrative of this episode.
You ruined this for me.
Okay, so Korra gets taken in, and Amarth has Amon Amarth is where I was going
It's
with
fine.
that. Okay, so Amon has taken her captive, and she's like freaking out. She's out of her wits' end, and Amon decides not to take away her bending.
It's
which is-
actually it's scene for scene from the dream sequence earlier. The hand goes right over her face.
except for they're in a different location, but yeah.
That's fine, but like the it's visual, so it's paralleling what it was at the very beginning, and then he ends up not taking her bending away, saying that she would just become a martyr.
Yeah, this is one of the big things that I hate about supervillains, most of all.
His
where
makes sense though.
Yes, so that's what I'm gonna get to that.
I'm sorry.
What I hate about a lot of supervillains in movies and stuff like this is they'll have, like James Bond is probably one of the worst. They'll have the main character exactly where they want them, where they can take them out super easily, okay? And they decide not to because they're gonna like give their plan away or something like that.
Well,
Don't do that. But with Amon in this, it makes sense because he has a cause, and you can see that he's a really good strategist. And he's like, if I do this now, it's only going to hurt me in the long run. So why don't you just like not challenge me publicly, and then I won't have to take your bending away.
fun fact about monologuing though, it was originally created for the bad guys to distract the good guys while the bad guys' plan wrapped itself up.
But that's not.
It's not what it
create.
It's not what it's been turned into.
No, it's been turned into entirely the opposite.
It's been turned into a joke.
Or a device to let the good guy foil the bad guy's plan. So no matter where it came from, I don't generally. I mean, I like a good monologue.
I do.
Just have some weight behind it, like with Amon. He gave away, like he didn't give away any of his plan. He's like, I'm not going to do this right now because it would hurt me. But he's not like, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and I like that.
Age of Ultron, folks.
But this episode ends with Korra and Tenzin again, and she breaks down in front of him because this entire time she's not been admitting how terrified she is.
Well, hold up. We get a weird little snippet of her doing a vision. We get to see.
Oh yeah, I hated that.
We get to see little flashes real quick. 3 little flashes.
We get to
it's old
see
Sokka and old Toph and old Aang.
Aang. Well, not really old Aang. I don't think it's not really old. This is like
No, it's probably like in their 20s.
yeah. So they're grown up.
Adult.
Yeah, they're
adult Toph, adult
I
Sokka,
never
adult.
got because she confuses Tenzin.
And then we see a silhouette running towards
Aang
her.
with Tenzin.
And
yeah,
she says Aang.
Or no. She thinks that because the last flash we get is old Avatar Aang.
Yeah, which
And
I
she
can
thinks
see,
that Tenzin running toward her is Aang.
I can
which
see how
is,
that doesn't make sense because she's never actually met Aang because Aang was dead.
okay. Aang makes the most sense because he's linked with her spiritually, and I guess if
But she comes back to reality, so why would she not automatically assume that was Tenzin? Why would she not be like, oh, Tenzin? Like I can see.
But she's
I
okay.
don't
So
know.
she's been like, they knock her out. Amon like punches her in the face.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
So I can kind of get it if like she's not really. And again, this is making me like the show because I'm trying to like figure out what makes the most sense. But I think that since she's not in tune with the spiritual side, she can get these flashes. I would like them to set it up earlier, but I think the flashes kind of
If
make
there
sense.
were more flashes in the episode,
Or if they'd set it up at all before this, like, oh, sometimes I get these flashes because
think
I
this is
don't
the
really
beginning
have
of them
control
setting it
over
up?
it. It might be, yeah. That's a good point. It might be. I don't
again,
remember.
we're kind of watching this with fresh eyes because you just have watched it recently again, you turd.
No, I watched the episodes before we watched them,
But me, yeah, I haven't seen these. I haven't seen Korra for 2 years, and I've only watched it one time.
yeah.
But I think going back to why we might like this now. Remember in high school when we would sit around at the poll and talk about new episodes of
At
like
the poll. Okay, why don't you?
The Walking Dead and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and we would speculate things.
Yes.
Just
And-
like the water cooler, like about Lost. I think people talking about big shows like that. I think that's really cool.
yeah. So did you talk about Korra to anyone when you watched it?
No.
Because I didn't. So maybe that's what it is.
maybe that's what I'm getting. At.
It's just a different experience. This
Yeah.
time. Yeah. So let's get into a little bit of trivia because it's the end of this episode. We don't have time for anything else. Okay. So the scene in which Mako is hit by Asami's moped mimics a similar event from another anime that I don't care about right now. that supposedly influenced Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko.
Is that the true pronunciation?
I don't know. I don't care. Councilman Tarlock referenced Avatar's Aang's... Oh, yes. Okay. So, Councilman Tarlock references Avatar Aang's defeat of Yakone 42 years prior to present day. This means that Republic City was, to some extent, up and running in 128 AG, 28 years after the end of the 100-Year War. So, they did mention this guy, Yakone, who was really the impetus for Tarlock to create his task force, because he sort of compared himself to Avatar Aang. I can't speak. He compared himself to Avatar Aang in that if Aang would have been more present and defeated Yakone before, whatever Yakone did wouldn't have happened. So maybe he'll be...
I wonder what Yakone did.
Maybe he'll be later on in the series.
Who, Avatar Aang or Yakone?
Maybe both. I don't know. Janora and Ikki can be seen playing Pai Sho in the background when Korra receives her invitation to Tarlock's party. We need to wrap this up because I'm losing all ability to speak.
I'm gathering that.
I feel like it's going to get bad before
I will address what you just said
better.
with a nod, and we will continue to the next one.
Yeah, but you should say something, because you know how banter works, how we go back and forth. I can't respond to any of these.
Is that repartee? Is that what it's called?
Maybe. But I can't respond to the trivia I'm reading.
You can respond.
I can respond to you responding, which makes an interesting podcast. Okay. So Korra challenging Amon is reminiscent of her teacher, Katara, challenging the North Pole's waterbending master, Pakku, while both Katara and Korra ending their impulsive and bold challenge with a question of their opponent's masculinity.
Now, we remember that, but do you guys remember that? Do you guys even watch the shows that we watch, or do you just listen to us out of context?
They probably watch the show.
Let us know.
I would say so.
Email us.
You should watch the show.
You should also email us.
I guess we do paint. I think I'm going to pat ourselves on the back real quick. I think we paint a pretty good picture of what goes on.
I think we do as well.
So we agree. The image on the banners seen in Tarlock's party was a piece of Korra's concept art. So they're just we don't want to draw anything new.
I don't remember that. The banners.
There's just banners on the outside of the arena or wherever they're at. Not the arena, but the hall or wherever. Conference room.
Maybe.
Something like that. But there are banners up. Tenzin is shown using a traditional air nomad glider in this episode. So I guess they found some more or made him to spec.
Oh yeah. When I saw that was a really neat thing when you saw him fly in.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like that so much. I didn't mention it during the show.
It's nostalgic.
Reminiscent was the word you were going to use.
But I went with nostalgic because I think that better encapsulates what I was trying to get across.
That's fair.
When Mako gets dressed for his date with Asami, his appearance is very similar to Roger Smith from the anime Big O.
Get out of here. I don't care. Next.
Which is, there's only one left. The episode had the second highest number of U.S. viewers for Book 1 with 4.08 million viewers.
Now, I see U.S. viewers. Now, I know in some movies, opening in China's a big place to open in. Do you think China had more viewers? Or
No, probably not.
You don't think you think it was a big thing in China?
No, I don't think.
I don't really care about other regions for business reasons.
It probably wasn't released at the same time.
You don't think so?
No. So
I don't know.
This is probably just the viewers from the U.S. or English-speaking countries, I would say.
Well, China speaks English.
A little.
It's not high up on the list.
Okay. But I think that this is just because they release it in the U.S. first, and then other places get it, so they have this number.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm with you.
And with that, that's the end of trivia.
It's going to wrap it up for us?
I think so. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We really do appreciate it. We also appreciate if you want to check us out on Twitter @BoysInTheBerg, or shoot us an email with boysintheiceberg @gmail.com. You can send us an email.
That sounds right.
If you have any questions or anything, we will address it on the podcast. As always, I've been Caleb Bader.
And I've been Harley Davis.
And we'll see you here next week.
Bye.